Hello friends, happy Sunday afternoon. It's a miserable day here in Gloucester, so we've been in all day today. Kind of been in all day for the last few days actually. When it's wet and cold it doesn't really inspire those nature walks that we all love so much. Anyway, here I am checking in with you and giving you an update on my headache helping rituals. So I posted on my page a few weeks ago about how I was tracking my habits for the month of February to make sure I was getting plenty of sleep, getting good hydration, trying to eat right, not having too much sugar, having a daily yoga practice, all little things that I felt would really help with keeping my hormones balanced and possibly eliminating the chance of a migraine. So I get hormonal migraines. I tend to get them just before I bleed, and I sometimes get them when I ovulate. So I have noticed that huge triggers for me are not getting enough sleep. So by tracking my sleep and setting the intention of at least 8 hours sleep, I've found a massive difference in managing my headaches, and just other PMS-like symptoms have really massively eased as well. So it seems that when I set an intention of 8 hours sleep, if that slips a little bit and I get a bit less, at least I'm getting in the region of 7. Whereas when I wasn't really tracking it and I was allowing myself to get caught up in the busyness of an evening and trying to squeeze as much out of my day as possible, sometimes I might have 6 hours sleep and kid myself that I could function on that, and I absolutely cannot. So if you suffer from migraines, you know how debilitating they are. So anything that eases them when they're here or reduces the chance of them occurring is massive. So this isn't a video that's going to eliminate your migraines. I'm not suggesting that. I still had a migraine a few days ago, the day before I bled, and that's just how it is for me, it seems. But what I'm going to share now are the things that massively help with the amount of time I have to spend in bed when I have one, and how human I feel while I'm working through it. So I've got 5 tips for you for what eased my migraine in the last couple of days, and I hope they're helpful to you. So my absolute first and favourite is this. Ice pack. If you don't have an ice pack in your freezer, you can make do with bags of peas or something like that, but this is an absolute godsend. So this has been out of the freezer for about the last half an hour, but as you can see it's still very icy. So all you need to do is wrap it in a tea towel or a flannel or a t-shirt, anything really, just so that you're not putting ice straight onto your skin. And I find that when I get a headache, it drills right up into the brow here. And if it's a really bad one, it will go right over the top of my head, and then it'll be around the base of my neck as well. So if you've got 2 ice packs, all the better. But when it's brewing or at its worst, I just have to go and lie down. And if you pop this, you're not going to be able to see now, pop this over your head there, the feeling of it completely chilling your brow is just, yeah. There's times I would not be able to sleep with the pain of a headache, but I just find that if I pop this on, it just does wonders. So if I didn't have 2 ice packs, I would alternate between having it across here and then, like I say, putting it around here, because I find those occipital bones there just, oh, it just really eases it if you can pop it there. So absolutely, first and foremost, that's what I go to is an ice pack, and that just seems to really, really help. And my migraine this time, it started in the evening, and I managed to fall asleep with an ice pack on my head, and then was woken at 4:30 with an absolute throbbing pain of it again. Got out of bed, went and got another one, back to sleep listening to a meditation. So that seemed to really help. So absolutely, that's my go-to. But also I find it really helpful to use essential oils to rub into my head. So I'm training as an aromatherapist at the moment, so I appreciate I've got oils that perhaps you might not have, but the oils that I would be recommending are really easy to get hold of. So just taking a step back, before I was training, I would use just the lavender relaxing body oil that we have at Walida. And so with this, I would just squirt it into my hands, and then I would be rubbing it across my brow here, down to my temples here. Because it's got no nasties or anything in it, I don't worry about where it goes, so I would even sometimes go like this and gently cup it across my eyes there, knowing that if it's going right up into here, it's absolutely fine. I'm lucky I'm not sensitive or anything, but obviously if you are sensitive to lavender, be cautious about that. So I would cup it here, and then also I find for me, where the pain radiates here, it's really helpful to kind of massage up into the back of my ears here, and again that point around the back of your neck there. So that's what I used to do. I've upped the ante now in terms of my oils, and what I find are my absolute go-tos and I would mix these into the lavender oil, or I also use the calendula baby oil, and I've got a little pot here. I've still got some in from the other day. It smells absolutely divine. But my absolute go-tos for my migraine are peppermint, oh, wrong way around, marjoram and peppermint. So a couple of drops of those in some oil, and then just really gently massaging here. Obviously, if you've used peppermint oil, you know it's really like opens you up. So you're not going to want to put it too close to your eyes or anything. It could make them a bit watery. So I'm a bit more careful with the peppermint, that it's kind of going more here and up around here. But what I've absolutely found since I've been using it is that also it's not really even about focusing on the point at which your headache is radiating, because the beauty of essential oils is they go in through your skin and actually enter your bloodstream and then work on your nervous system and your body at a whole different level. So actually, when I had the migraine prior to this one, that's when I really discovered that peppermint works really well for me. And so I mixed it into some oil, and actually after my shower just did a whole body massaging with the oils. So obviously I can't do much to myself. It's a bit different to if I was doing it with a client or something, but just that process of mindfully applying some oil down your body, really in terms of just moisturizing, but actually working it into your skin. And it kind of takes the edge off focusing on the pain points. I think it can be a bit tender when you're working on particular points that are hurting you. So I just find actually using the oils in that way and actually using it all over the body was really effective. And I'm just going to read a little bit from my essential oils cards here about why peppermint and marjoram seem to work so well for me. So peppermint is a vasoconstrictor and reduces inflammation. It has a cooling effect on the skin. It refreshes the mind. It improves concentration. It can help mental fatigue and headaches. It can help depression. It cools and calms anger. And it's really good for if somebody is, well, it says nervous trembling. So yeah, it works in so many ways. It's an antispasmodic as well. It can be helpful for aches and pains like rheumatoid arthritis and menstrual cramps. So really is very multi-purposeful in terms of how that it can help when there's a throbbing sensation in the body. And then marjoram also, I like to combine these two because they both have the properties that help headaches, but I'm not a great fan of how marjoram smells, so wouldn't actually want to use it on its own. And often in aromatherapy we find that blending oils makes them, they're better together. So then marjoram, for skin it can heal bruises. For the skeletal system it can ease joint problems, good for period cramps, muscular aches and pains, particularly after sport. For circulatory it can lower high blood pressure and generally improve circulation. It can calm the emotions, especially as a result of stress or grief. And good for headaches, insomnia and migraines. So yes, I am finding those are particularly helpful to me in terms of using them for massage when I'm really suffering with a headache. And what I've found since using my essential oils is that I've not had a migraine that's gone so full blown that I've had to lie down in a dark room and can't move. So that's helpful. And if I do get to the point where it's really looking like it's gonna go that way, I seem to be able to ease the symptoms a bit quicker. So interestingly, for my headache a couple of days ago, I had the complete drilling feeling right above my eye, did all my usual things like this, and it still wasn't quite cutting it. And so for an absolute emergency point, I've got Anadin Extra, which I started taking for my migraines about 6 months ago. And that was after speaking to the doctor about it, speaking to a few other people. I didn't want to take any migraine medication because I felt that I could identify the cause of them. And so I didn't want to take anything long term. But I also, up until that point, had not taken anything at all, hadn't even touched paracetamol. And from my research, I discovered that I was being a bit of a martyr to that, and that actually, there is a science in taking paracetamol sometimes to help you manage the pain so that then you can go and rest and give your body what it needs. So much as I love a natural approach and really, believe in doing everything you can naturally, I also think sometimes if you're in pain, your body needs a break. And so I did have some things I wanted to do, and I was mindful of not just pushing through that and, getting on the computer and finishing some jobs. but I actually felt like I'll take a couple and see what happens. They were the last two in the pack as well, so I thought, right, I'm done then with them. And interestingly, it didn't seem to touch it. It didn't seem to help. But I also had noticed that I was feeling a bit nauseous with my migraine this time as well. And so we had some lunch, and then my husband happened to say to me, oh, last time I had a headache, I'd cut sugar and I was having real sugar cravings and just really feeling like I was detoxing from sugar. And in the end, actually had a little bit of ice cream, and that helped me. So I wasn't about to take that on board as like a top tip to try, but actually I just sat with it for a moment and thought, how am I feeling in my body? And I was feeling, a bit sick, which I think was a little bit to do with the pain of it. But also, I think I was feeling a bit nauseous, perhaps because my blood sugar levels were a bit all over the place. So I think because over the course of the month, I'd cut back on my sugar a little bit. And I hadn't relied on that in the way that I sometimes do for energy to get through things. I think maybe I was a little bit depleted energy-wise, because I had a very active week with going out and trying to get more nature walks and things in. But my calorie intake probably hadn't been adjusted for all the extra expenditure of energy I was using. So I kind of thought to myself, there could be something in that if your blood sugar level is too low, it can contribute to a headache. So I decided to maybe have something that was a little bit sweet, but without being reach for the biscuit, reach for the chocolate bar. And so what I had was this. Does anybody recognise it? Yeah, sea buckthorn elixir. So we had some lunch. I still felt a bit nauseous, still had the headache, and I got some of my sea buckthorn elixir out of the fridge and I mixed it with some fizzy water. So that's how I like to have it. And I just had a cup like that. Had that as a drink, and then about half an hour later, for the first time all day, my headache was gone. So not to put it down entirely to that, but I think just the sum total of the parts. So I'd had a whole morning of lots of different things, and nothing's instant. I don't think you can claim that anything works, within half an hour for a headache normally. But I think that sum total of doing all those things together really helped, and my body was then ready to process whatever it needed to process. So those are my tips for helping with headaches if you experience them. Is an ice pack to your head, doing some self-massage on the points that are hurting on your head, but also just actually soothing your whole body and your whole nervous system with a bit of massage all over. For me, it's particularly peppermint and marjoram, and I mix it with lavender oil often. The three of those together. Lemon is also a nice one to mix it with. I tend to not use peppermint if it's in the evening, because peppermint can be a bit too stimulating for then trying to get to sleep. Not having too much sugar in your diet, but being mindful that if you think your headache might be being contributed to by a low blood sugar level, then having something that does give you something in addition to the sugar. So obviously the sea buckthorn elixir's got honey in it, so that would have been how that would have helped my glucose levels. But then also sea buckthorn elixir is great for boosting immunity. It's really packed with B vitamins and vitamin C, and some omega oils as well. So knowing that I was actually giving my body something good as well was good. And then my number 5 is just to say that often headaches can be a result of stress. And it might be that you don't feel you're stressed, that you haven't got mental stress related with your work, you don't feel like you're juggling lots of things, and you don't really think you're that stressed. But I think our bodies give us clues about what's going on and what we need. And sometimes we are holding stress without realising it, and it can come through in the choices of the food that we're eating, and the fact that you might be relying on coffee to get through your day and not having enough water to hydrate. And I think, that's where it's been interesting for me this month, with not having some of the little rumbling headaches, only going straight to this, hormonal migraine when it happened, because I have been very hydrated. I've been trying to make sure I've had 2 litres of water a day. And I think that's massive, really, in terms of not putting stress on your body. So I think our body needs about that much fluid just to do its normal respiration and pump the blood around your body, and the normal cycle of your kidneys cleaning your blood and then, peeing out and stuff. And I think that if we're not getting enough water, we're actually stressing our bodies unnecessarily, and all those functions kind of go a bit out of balance. And hormones in particular play such a massive part on how well we feel in ourselves and how well we function. And I think that when my hormones go a bit out of whack, it's to do with stress. And yeah, stress, we can all be very competent at juggling our day and our life and, you know, parenting and working and stuff. But actually our bodies carry stress even if we're on like high energy and we're excited and everything, you know, feels like it's flowing. You know, there's stress to be had in our body if actually we're running on low fuel and things. So yeah, I would say it's managing stress is tip number 5. And sometimes, you know, that we can do that by getting good sleep and eating the right food, doing yoga, meditating, calling a friend, connecting with other people. And sometimes we need a little help and a reminder. So in Weleda we've got something called stress relief spray, and I haven't got some in stock at the moment because I haven't been needing to use it, but yeah, that's a real helpful one to have, because it just, for me, when I use it, it's that mental reminder that I need to slow down and I need to actually listen to what my body needs. And like, if I am feeling a bit stressed, I can't think my way out of it. Sometimes I need to move my body and I need to attend to the physical things and I need to ground myself and make better choices. So and I use Findhorn flower essences as well, so perhaps that's why I've not used the stress relief spray so much, because I'm using those instead. But yeah, I think, you know, health is such a fine balance of mind, body and spirit, and even if we feel physically okay and mentally okay, if our soul's a bit a bit wobbly, we're feeling a bit out of purpose with how we're spending our time and we're feeling disconnected from loved ones, it has a massive effect on you know, our well-being and how well we can function in the world. So the clues are there, and we just need to try and tune in and listen to that. Sometimes it's hard to hear our own intuition about what we need sometimes when the world is noisy with everything else. So yeah, so I hope that's of some use to you. If you've got any questions at all, pop them into the comments below. I'm going to post a couple of links in the comments because I found some really great resources at the National Migraine Centre. They have a podcast that really is helpful in terms of talking about migraines and different triggers for them. And then if I've got anything else, I know I can just drop it back on this video. So yeah, I hope you found that useful. I'm experimenting with a new iPad as well, so I hope it's perhaps clearer quality than when I've used my old computer and my phone before. So anyway, take care and happy Sunday to you. Bye.